Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Hope you had a good night. Hope you were able to rest. A lot of folks have been focused on the south in Florida, which we'll give you an update as well. But I want to focus on local for a moment. Let's take a look. In fact, take a look at the temperatures. Right now, 54 degrees our current temperature, 52 in Oak Ridge. We have 50 in Maryville. This is our starting point this morning. I kind of flew by it just a second ago, but if you go back to the visibility, there may be a few hints of fog, especially around Claiborne County, Granger, even Bell County. Bell County is reporting 2 miles visibility at the moment, but 10 is the maximum. 10 miles visibility in McGee-Tyson. Not an issue for most, as we'll find another sunny day developing here on a Thursday. It is the 10th of October. Where did the time go? 45 in Middlesboro right now. It's kind of cool. And when you get down to 45 or colder, you can typically see your breath. Hard to believe that, but 46 in Sevierville, and we've got 48 degrees currently in Newport. If you're on the call, just want to say good morning to you. A big shout out to our friend Steve Stone, who's quick on the comment here. He's got the sunshine. He knows that we're going to have more of that as well. But glad to have you here. A lot of us have been focused on maybe the sunshine lately, and that's going to continue for the course of today and for the next couple of days. So some of us are going to be thrilled to be able to continue on that path. 52 a current temperature in Oak Ridge and Clinton, while it is 50 in Wartburg. But dew points are very comfortable. No humidity really to talk about. In fact, once it's in the 40s, it feels kind of cool and crisp heading through the course of the morning. Wind speeds are moving. They will pick up today, about 5 to 15. I wouldn't be surprised if we've got gusts 20 to 25. It was a gust, I think, 20 yesterday. But a little bit of a breeze, 5 to 15, especially through the midday hours. And I think that'll be something to be watching as the winds increase out of the northeast later on today. Here's the bigger picture. As you can see, you'd be hard-pressed to find a cloud in the state of Tennessee. But you can clearly see what is Milton and the clouds associated with Milton blanketing much of eastern North Carolina and South Carolina, where they've had a little bit of rain in parts of South Carolina. Here's where I expect to be today. 75 in Knoxville, 75 in Oak Ridge, would be likely to reach the low 70s today in Oneida, Crossville, Fairfield Glade, as well as Jamestown. So that's where I expect to be here on a Thursday afternoon. If you're on the call, just want to say good morning to Fred's on the quick draw here to give us an update in Blount County. He has 50 degrees, a cool 50 degrees in Maryville. Glad to have Fred here as well, because we've been watching these temperatures get somewhat cooler. In fact, I suspect they will be much cooler heading into tonight, down to about 44. I think is what I have. I have 44 for tonight. That's kind of chilly. Given the fact the normal low is 52. So we're going to be about 8 degrees below normal tonight, so be prepared for that. But again, 75, not bad. We hit 76 yesterday, started the day at 49. Normal high and low is 74, 52. And we did hit 87, a record high for this date, back in 1949. And 10 years prior, 1939. So we had 87 degrees. We've been as cool as 30 in 2000. So that's our record low. We're nowhere close to that, but can you imagine 30 degrees on a morning of the 10th of October? Somebody said, man, it's cold. Yeah, we've had some cold mornings on this particular day, but today is pretty pleasant. I would describe today as pretty pleasant. Let's talk about Milton. Clearly, this storm is no longer as strong as he once was. He made landfall last night. The 8:30 update put it around Siesta Key near Sarasota. But this storm is now moving on the east side. They're still getting quite a bit of winds. This actually has winds of 85 miles per hour. So Milton is still a Category 1. Made landfall as a Category 3. And if you do the math, it was like a couple of days ago, this was a Category 5 in the Gulf of Mexico. What's remarkable about that is the similarity is kind of interesting, because Katrina, which a lot of folks remember is one of the worst storms ever to hit New Orleans, was a Cat 5 for a while, but when it made landfall, Katrina was a Category 3. It wasn't until the levees broke that all chaos kind of broke out in the New Orleans area back in 2005. For those of you old enough to remember, Katrina was a major storm, and of course a lot of folks remember that the media coverage that was associated with that. But of course Florida, they're a little more battle proven here. They're used to hurricanes. They'll get through this. They're a hardy bunch as well, but you can see there is still some concern. In fact, there's still flash flooding going on in Lake County, Florida. All the areas around Orlando still getting quite a bit of flooding. Many are without power. Many of them are without power. You can see the lightning strikes now of over 1,300. Maybe a little bit more than 1,200 now. But look at the power outages. Just take Tampa, for example. They've turned purple, which would suggest over about 500,000, I believe. Yeah, over 500,000 people without power there. So again, a lot of folks without electricity here in the morning. Orlando, I believe, is close to 100,000 as well. So think about that. I mean, we've had a lot of eyes on Milton. But we don't want to forget our friends in Western North Carolina as well. So I want to just bring that to our forefront because it's easy to go from one media story to the next and forget those who might still be suffering. Our wave heights have gotten back to normal in the Gulf, but they're still pretty high in red in parts of the Atlantic on the other side of the state. I kept saying it wasn't going to be a picnic on the east side. They're still getting battered with some heavy rains, winds, as well as some high surf. If you're on the call, I just want to say good morning to Tyler Wiseman. He's saying good morning from Tellico Plains. Great to see Tyler here and his smiling face. Wanda Poe also wanting to wish everybody a good morning. She says, David, nice cool weather. And in fact, it is very cool, much cooler tonight. Lana Johnson says good morning from Kodak. She has prayers for Florida and 2 cups of virtual coffee. I love that. Thank you very much, Lana, for being here as well. All right, so let's keep moving. I did mention that he made landfall last night, and I wanted to show you where the storm is now. Category 1 now with the coordinates at the top. 85, you got even the latitude, longitude if you're very specific, but the pressure's down to 976 millibars. Where this did make landfall, Siesta Key is right near Sarasota. So the white broken line is the actual track it once took. And last night, it was kind of like, is it going to be Tampa? Is it going to be Sarasota? Is it going to be Siesta Key? That area did get pounded. And then, of course, the wraparound and the heavy rains may have been heavier north of the interstate. But clearly, this storm goes out to sea in the coming days and hours. So we won't be worrying about Milton as far as the weekend. But the cleanup, obviously the cleanup will continue down in Florida. Let's get back to the rainfall. There it is. That's where additional rains could be anywhere from 4, 5, 6 inches in purple as it heads back out to sea. But certainly Florida still bracing for this departure as this begins to leave. Back home, though, nothing to see. We have hardly any clouds. So I guess it's a natural inclination. When you're looking for weather, you go where it is certainly dramatic, and it's been dramatic down there. Nothing to see over the last 8 hours. The Ultimate Doppler Radar presented by my sponsor, Marco's Pizza. Marcos.com. If you're making lunch plans today, they do deliver, and they deliver well in Hardin Valley, the area of Farragut, Maryville. They're located in Fountain City. They've got a location in Halls, Oak Ridge, as well as Middlebrook Pike and Ebenezer Road. Oh, that pepperoni pizza looks good. I could eat pizza for breakfast. But anyway, now open. They've been those 8 locations are open at their normal operating hours. But they have a great Pizzoli too for lunch that's less than $6. If you're a fan of pepperoni and sausage put together, that's my favorite. It's the one pictured at the top. You might want to consider that for lunch at Marcos.com. Now there is some frost concerns around Roanoke and looks like east of Charleston, West Virginia. So if there's any indication that once Milton gets out of the system or gets absorbed, let's say, and pulls out to the sea, it's going to open the door for the cool air in Canada, the chilly air, to make a run toward us, as you'll see in the 7-day. But there are some significant number of frost advisories in blue across Pennsylvania, freeze watches perhaps in light blue. They've got some issues for some cold air moving into West Virginia and New York State. But for us, we continue on this path of dry weather and certainly cooler weather coming into the picture in the coming days. All right, so let me show you where we've been. For those of you keeping score or playing the home game version, we've had now 5 days. 5 days this month in the 80s, and you might argue that those were all above average. In fact, the 79 on Monday was technically above average. The average high is 74. But we were 76 yesterday, 75 the day before. But I do think, obviously, things are going to get a lot cooler. Now, some of you might say, well, the natural progression is the change of season would bring winter. And I am going to be giving my premium members some insight as to what I think this winter will bring. Be highly specific. I'm not just going to post a number. I put a lot of thought into my winter weather outlook. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Simply just hit the subscribe button at the top of my Facebook post, my page. By the way, Florida is coming to town after they recover, and we'll be recovering this week. Florida against Tennessee. This is the big game on ESPN. So if you're watching it on television, or if you're at Neyland, you're certainly going to want maybe a light jacket. We'll be cooling back into the mid-50s, I think, by the end of the fourth quarter. It will remain mostly clear, but I do expect temperatures will be cooling rapidly under clear skies, mostly clear skies, but temperatures should be back down to about 56 degrees on the end of the fourth quarter. Got another note from Jill. She's got a note from Nyota. She says it's quite foggy. Thank you for that update, Jill, because again, my maps are always going to tell what ground truth is, so it's always nice to have a little bit of weather spotter intel, as it were. Gigi says good morning. She's also watching live. Love it. One of the benefits of being up live, you get to put your picture on there. I love to see Gigi's smiling face. And also, Lana pointing out that Florida did have quite a few tornadoes yesterday, especially that afternoon. They were pretty interesting. I did see I caught a little bit of Brian Norcross. He was on talking about how it's some of the most tornadoes he remembers seeing from a tropical system. He is most famous, at least nationally, from his coverage of Hurricane Andrew back in '92. But Don Rumsey is also here saying, good morning, David. Continued prayers for everyone south of us. I hope everyone finds a bright spot in the day, near and far. Well, thank you very much for that encouraging words. Always appreciate Dawn. She's such a sweetheart. Appreciate her comment. By the way, as far as the dryness in October, there's a natural tendency that when it's dry or prolonged dry, that there's something wrong. Well, historically, it's not. It's usually the driest month of the year based on those green numbers. Those green numbers represent 30-year averages. So if you take 30 years of October rainfall numbers from 1991 to 2020, we averaged 2.81. That's where that number comes from. And so far, we haven't had a single drop, but there is some hope that we'll get some spots of rain next week. Not tonight, not tomorrow. Let's move the clock forward. I think Sunday night we'll get an opportunity. Let's get to Sunday, 5 o'clock. Yeah, I think I stopped it there. 5 o'clock Sunday. So there's no rain, but once it gets dark, suddenly it might populate like so. Ooh, all right, so the virtual rain gauges start to pop. You mean we might get some rain next week? Because Sunday's technically a new week. Yeah, we might have a few drops. But again, this might be pie in the sky. It might be hopeful, wishful thinking, but we'll take what we can get, and maybe a few drops may return on Tuesday, so not a whole lot. What is interesting to see is the smoke. Now, oftentimes people ask me, well, where's the smoke coming from? It could be multiple sources from wildfires that are either near or far away. But even this is not necessarily at the ground or the surface, but it's vertically integrated. Fancy way of saying it's throughout the column of air. And so there's a little hint of smoke right through 5 o'clock today in the plateau with that northerly wind component. And as it continues to push down toward Cookeville, look how dense the smoke is in yellow and red, where it's very dense, back toward maybe Nebraska, maybe the Great Lakes. So if you are having family that's still on the road from fall break, because Knox County's still on fall break this week, they're going to find more haze in the atmosphere, perhaps poor air quality there. But this is all smoke that might try and make another pass toward East Tennessee later in the week. This takes us through about Friday evening. But at least in the short term, most of that stays all around us. Speaking of around us, there's only a 10% chance for another tropical system. We have said before that this is hurricane season, runs from June 1st to November 30th, but it usually peaks in those months of August, September, early October. But this may slow down. There's still a 10% chance of something forming off of Africa. So Milton is still on the map. Nadine would be the next named storm. And if we make it to Oscar, Patty, and Raphael, those would be the names that would follow in the Atlantic hurricane season. Leslie is still out there, but she's just pulling away. And she's not headed in this direction. She might be actually headed toward Spain, potentially, sometime by mid next week. Not a whole lot of clouds to see here, so we won't spend much time here, but I'm going to give you the sunrise time. It's at 7:39. Currently, it is 6:53, and I'll be done now, 6:54. I'll be done here in just about 6 minutes, about 7 o'clock. Sun sets tonight at 7:06, so those evening walks with the dog are getting shorter, no doubt, because of the fact that the days are getting a lot shorter. But thank you for being here. If you have a comment, I will continue to check the comments on my screen. By the way, today is the 10th of October. It's 10/10/2024. Should be in the upper 50s by 10, and I expect by 2 o'clock we'll be around 72 with a high of 75 degrees. So another day that's kind of cool in the morning. They're a little bit warmer in Memphis at 60, but sharply cooler. In Johnson City right now, they are at 43, while our friends up in Charleston, West Virginia, coming in at 40. They're one of the cooler spots on this particular map. So 40, certainly a big difference, 14 degrees compared to here. Dew points are still low and very comfortable. That case will not change during the course of today. So we're pretty much done with the ickies and stickies, it would seem. Milton leaves Florida today, mostly clear for the Vols game. We've covered that. But maybe a good sign is that there is some signs of hope for some spots of rain that appears next week. But I would keep your expectations low because, again, it's not going to amount as to much, but the possibility will still exist. Right now we're at 54 degrees. We have a northeast wind at 7. Dew point at 47. So we have a relative humidity at 77%. Valley Planner, if you're making lunch plans, we should be around 67 at 12 noon today. So pick out your favorite hour. Yes, it'll be sunny. It'll be pleasant, but with that northeast breeze, about 5 to 15, gusting 20 to 25. I think we'll finish the day right around 75 degrees here in the valley. So hopefully that helps you plan. Precipitation chances pretty much zero every day except Sunday night into early Monday morning, and then a left a 20% chance on Tuesday. But what about severe weather? Now that Milton is pulling away ever so slowly, couldn't be fast enough, I'm sure, for Floridians, but they've just left a general thunderstorm risk in Florida for today. A couple of hot spots maybe in Oklahoma for general thunderstorms. Nothing severe, but it is obviously quiet and clear across Tennessee and East Tennessee particularly, and we'll continue on this path heading into Friday. Still a couple of thunderstorms possible for Miami tomorrow, perhaps just north of Dallas into Oklahoma, and still a quiet afternoon for us as we'll keep it nice and bright. You're getting some good mileage out of your sunglasses, no doubt. A couple of thunderstorms possible Saturday around Chicago, perhaps into the Ohio Valley, but it is quiet yet again with mostly clear skies in time for the Vols game, which is a 7 o'clock start. So we've got two areas of high pressure that have been just dominating the skies here. We say goodbye to the rain off the beaches. Here comes another high from Lake Erie. So when you get these big blue H's, you're promoting sinking air, not rising air. You need rising air to get the clouds. We just don't have a lot of those clouds forming. That's not to say we couldn't see something, but generally it's going to be a sun-filled day today, tomorrow, and into Sunday as well. I have it mostly sunny. Until we get into the evening, some of those clouds will gather, and we'll find maybe a few specks of rain as this front tries to drive down into our region by Sunday evening. So for today, it's now 6:57. I'm expecting a sunny day today, pleasant with a cool breeze, 5 to 15, gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. As we take a look at the region, highs around 73 for White Pine, Russellville, Talbot, and Morristown. Jefferson City about 74, Dandridge 74, and Newport, and 74 for Wartburg in the heart of Morgan County. I got another note and a good morning from Karen Robbins. She's got prayers for Florida. Yay. I'm glad to see folks are not forgetting Florida and also Western North Carolina as they're still dealing with a lot of cleanup. I got a yay from Frost for Wanda. I was jumping ahead to her comment. She said yay for Frost, and she wants to get rid of the ragweed. And I think there's certainly an element to that. For those who are super sensitive to pollen, ragweed is the big culprit this time of year. And certainly that may be something in the horizon, maybe some big improvement from the allergy season. 81 for a high if you're traveling to Memphis, 80 for Nashville. They should be around 76 today in Atlanta, Georgia. It is now 6:58. Temperatures tonight are cooler by a large degree, given the fact that some of us are in the 50s this morning. But tomorrow morning, yeah, it's 44. That is cool enough to see your breath, right around 45, but starry skies and winds generally out of the north-northeast about 3 to 8 miles per hour. Taking a look at your forecast tonight, look at the lows there. Does that say 40 in Oneida? It does. But don't even look at Middlesboro if you're not a fan of cool air, because they're down to 38 tonight. I mean, if Charleston, West Virginia can get down to 40 now, yeah, it's probably no wonder that Jonesville and Middlesboro can reach the upper 30s. 46 for a low expected at Oak Ridge, down to 41 for Fairfield Glade, Lake Tansy, Crossville 41, about 44 for Athens down in McMinn County. So those are the lows temperatures tonight. It's going to be chilly. Maybe a chance to give that air conditioning a break if it's been running at all. But 7-day forecast. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. It's now 6:59. You'll notice it's even cooler on Friday. But then there's like a spike in advance of the cold front. We'll get up to 81, I think, for Sunday, the day after the Vols game. And then the spot of rain comes in Sunday night. It's gone pretty quickly early Monday morning. But then we've had another chance, maybe a few drops of rain, but much cooler. I mean, the fact that we could barely crack 60 on Tuesday, it will be followed up. But I think what Wanda Poe was excited about was that circled 37. It's going to be colder for Knoxville heading into early to mid next week. So some of you are anticipating the excitement that comes with the change of season. So happy that you all are here. By the way, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, it's pretty easy to find, but you've got to put that /@ Sometimes that trips people up. You go to youtube.com, just hit /@ you'll find, and then type Captain Accurate. It's free. You'll find the YouTube is also another platform that we televise on, so to speak, with live streaming. Weather app, if you'd like to grab my free weather app, I have Pete Michaels on there as well. You get all the National Weather Service alerts, 3 extras that are second to none from Barron, plus lightning alerts. I love the app, and of course, we're going to be actually updating this very soon. So we've got some cool things that are going to be coming in very soon on the app. By the way, if you want to join us on Premium, we'd love to have you. My winter weather outlook, I'll be posting this in just a matter of weeks. My winter weather outlook will be very detailed. And if you're interested, if it's important to you to know what kind of winter we're going to have, you are kind of curious, we would encourage you to sample us and join us. Because when you become a premium member, you're the first to see every snow forecast. You're the first to see every forecast, usually to the tune of 30 to 45 hour long, ahead of when it's posted publicly and before it's posted on the app. You get weather information that goes beyond the next 7 days. So we focus on weather that's 2 weeks into the future, 30 days into the future, and beyond, looking for new patterns and trends. And also, you get more Facebook Lives, typically 4 extra Facebook Lives a month. I usually do them on Sundays for my premium members so that they can be prepared for the week ahead, and you get fewer ads. How much does this cost? It's just $4.99 a month, not a week, not a day, but a month, which is the price of a cup of coffee. You would love it if you're a fan of weather. Try us out, sample us. I think you'll be impressed with the information that you get that you might not be getting anywhere else. But very thankful for all of you. I hope that you'll enjoy the sunshine. Don't forget your sunglasses. We'll see you here next time. Take care.